When Bitchin Rides first premiered on September 2, 2014, it aired on a small cable network called Velocity, a channel that would later fold into Motor Trend. The premise was straightforward. Follow a custom shop in Salt Lake City called Kindig Design as it took on builds. Let the camera sit there while real work happened. Design, metal, paint, assembly, and then, at the end, the reveal. What nobody quite expected was how far that simple idea would travel. The show ran for 11 seasons and more than 150 episodes. It didn't just survive. It became the top series on its network and reached millions of viewers around the world. In some countries it aired under entirely different names. In the UK it was called Kindig Customs. In Italy, Salt Lake Garage. Same shop, same cars, just a different sign on the door. And the reason it worked came down to one man's obsession with getting things exactly right. Dave Kindig built the whole thing on a foundation of perfection, on solving problems that other shops would have walked away from. The builds ranged from clean classic restorations, like a 33 Ford or a 57 Corvette, to ground-up originals like the CF-1, a Corvette-inspired custom the shop dreamed up from a blank sheet of paper. Standing in the middle of it all was co-star Kev Dog Sheila, whose personality became a big part of why people kept coming back. Fans didn't tune in only for the cars. They tuned in for the feeling of the place. The shop ran like a family, because it basically was one, and you could sense it right through the screen. Season after season, the show just kept growing. But nothing runs forever. And when the end finally came, it didn't arrive the way most fans assumed it would. In November 2024, Dave announced that Bitchin Rides would conclude with its 11th season. He called it an incredible run and thanked the fans who had made it possible. There was no bitterness in it, just gratitude and a promise, because the same breath that announced the ending also made one thing crystal clear. This was not goodbye for Kindig Design. The cameras were leaving. The shop was not. What made the timing so striking was that the show was not limping toward the finish line. Season 11 premiered on March 12, 2025, and it was among the strongest work the team had ever done. One standout build that season, a 1953 12A Corvette, went on to win the Riddler Award, one of the most prestigious prizes in the entire custom car world. That single project had taken 4.5 years to complete. A show announcing its own ending while simultaneously delivering some of the most ambitious work of its career. For longtime viewers, the whole thing landed somewhere between sad and deeply respectful. But if the ratings were strong and the craftsmanship was world-class and Dave clearly still loved what he was doing, then why end it all? The answer had almost nothing to do with Dave. Back in 2022, Warner Media and Discovery merged into a giant called Warner Bros. Discovery. When companies that size combine, things get reshuffled, and not always in ways that make sense to the people who actually loved the programming. One of the casualties was the dedicated Motor Trend Plus streaming service, which was shut down in early 2024. All that programming got pushed onto larger platforms like Discovery Plus and Max as part of the kind of sweeping cost-cutting and realignment that becomes a headline one week and someone's canceled show the next. Bitchin Rides was one of many Motor Trend programs caught in that shift. It wasn't about the ratings. It was a business decision made at a level Dave never sat at, about a streaming strategy he never wrote. What Dave did manage to control was how it ended. He's spoken about how the team negotiated their contracts carefully, specifically to ensure the shop never became a permanent film set. That kind of arrangement can quietly start to compromise client builds and the standard of craftsmanship he'd spent his whole life protecting. So when the cameras finally wrapped, they wrapped on his terms. And honestly, losing the show handed him something he hadn't had in years. No more production schedules dictating every move. He could chase longer, more ambitious projects, and talk directly to the fans who had followed him, without a network sitting in the middle deciding what stayed and what got cut. But before any of that, long before the world ever met Dave Kindig on television, there was a stretch of about 3 days where his entire dream nearly collapsed. This is the part most fans never knew, because it happened well before the cameras arrived. In a candid podcast interview, Dave opened up about a business situation that got so bad that he and his team were physically escorted off their own property. A couple, car collectors, a husband and wife, liked what Dave was doing and wanted to invest. He and his wife Charity had never studied business formally. They figured this was simply how a company grows. Take on an investor and suddenly there's money in the bank. The couple put in around $120,000, and the wife, who handled accounting, began doing the company's books. That access gave her a close look at exactly what the place was worth. About 4 months in, they made their move. Dave was heading out to lunch when they arrived. He and his team were escorted off the property. The phones were taken. The company vehicles were taken. The plan was to push Dave out entirely and convert the shop into a Mopar restoration business. To justify it, they claimed Dave had embezzled $44,000. Money he says was never even in the bank account. Dave has said he and Charity were beside themselves. They thought they were going to lose everything. But then they fought back. They borrowed money from Charity's father to pay for a lawyer, went back in, and forced the investors out. The deal was restructured into a simple loan, and a restraining order was put in place keeping the couple from coming within 500 yards of the shop. Years later, Dave says he's almost grateful it happened. That brutal 3-day stretch taught him about contracts, about setting money aside for taxes, and about never spending what you haven't earned yet. Those lessons got permanently welded into the way he ran everything that came after. But it wasn't the only storm he'd have to weather. A lawsuit from a company called Creative Controls over allegations of copyright and patent infringement tied to designs landed around 2015, eventually settling but draining the shop in both money and energy. There were also disputes tied to a 1974 Dodge Charger build, claims from clients about delays, breach of contract, and more. Custom car building lives in the gap between a client's dream timeline and the reality of one-of-a-kind fabrication. Then COVID arrived and made everything worse. Client finances wobbled. The whole industry got shaky. And for a shop that runs on people being willing to spend serious money on bespoke builds, that's a dangerous place to be. Through all of it, the thing that held was family. No account of Kindig design is complete without talking about Charity Kindig. They met at a dance club in the late 1980s and married on April 7, 1990. From the very start, she wasn't simply a supportive spouse. She was a co-founder. When Dave decided to walk away from a steady paycheck in 1999, just 6 weeks after their son Drew was born, Charity didn't talk him out of it. She jumped in alongside him. She handled the books, the marketing, and the difficult clients, while raising 2 kids as the business clawed its way up out of a home garage. Dave has a line he likes to use about her. He's the go and she's the whoa, whoa, whoa. The calm hand on the wheel of all his restless energy. Today, Charity serves as vice president and CFO of the company. Their daughter Bailey runs the marketing operation. Their son Drew works as a bodyman in the shop. The whole thing is, in the most literal sense, a family business, and not just for the cameras. The shop itself never slowed down after the show ended. Throughout 2025 and into 2026, Kindig Design kept producing the same over-the-top custom work that made the series famous. The CF1 series moved forward. SEMA became a major showcase, with the team rolling out builds including a wide-body 1969 Camaro, a 1957 Oldsmobile, and several CF1 variants. Plans for a radical nomad wagon concept were already taking shape for SEMA 2026. And then there was YouTube. On January 7, 2026, the shop launched Kindig All Access, multiple episodes a week, settling into a steady rhythm of Wednesdays and Saturdays at noon Mountain Time. Where television delivered the polished, time-boxed version of a build, All Access gives viewers the raw thing: early design debates, metal shaping, wiring, dyno runs, and the frustrations that come with chasing perfection. All of it left in, instead of edited out. Episodes run longer, dig deeper into technique, and let the audience actually get to know the team. Early on, a lot of viewers said the same surprising thing. It feels even more authentic than the original show. For Dave Kindig, this is the chapter that finally hands him the keys to his own story. No production schedules. No network notes. No clock he didn't set himself. The cameras that made him famous may have switched off. But the work never did. The ride isn't over. It just changed lanes.